My pranams to all the devotees. Thank you for your warm welcome here. Where is Jai Shri Radhe? She's managing. And Rupa Manjri, managing. Okay, special thanks to all the managers. So, this is my last program here. I just came from Vrindavan on a quick lightning tour, different places in USA for a few weeks. And tomorrow I'll be going back. So we spoke on many different siddhantas and philosophical points, and gradually going towards the more elevated and esoteric topics. So this is the last class of this series of lectures. So I apologize for all the devotees who are just coming for the first time, that it's a little bit in at the deep end. So our subject today is Yoga Viyoga, the great treasure of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, love in meeting and love in separation. The subject. Nam Shreshtam Manamapi Ashaji Putram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasyagraja Muripurim Maturim Goshtvatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Ahoradika Madhvasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tamanatosmi Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya He Mabhadivyats Chabi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahapremarasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Chilpascha Kamaritoram Kamadi Kripa Mahitvam Shanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanaravidam Brinde Namaste Charanaravidam Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Everyone. Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Shama Sundar Shikanda Shekhara, Smaraha Samurali Manohara, Radhikara Sakamama Kripa Nidhe, Swapriya Charna Kinkurim Kuru, Tavaivasmi, Na Jivami Tvaya Bina, Iti Vikyaya Devi Tvam, Nayamam Charnantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadiya Paramaradhatama Gurupada Padma Nityalila Pravisht Om Vishnupad Ashtol Tarasta Sri Rupanugach Harivarya Sila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vanchakalpaturasa Kripasno Patitam Pavane By the causeless mercy of Sri Gauranga Gauranga, we have assembled here today in the Kunj of Sri Krishna to hear about the glories of Prem. When Srila Rupa Goswami Pad met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag, at that time Mahaprabhu told him, Para para shunya gabir bhakti rasa sindhu Toma chakayiti kahitaye kabhindu. The ocean of rasa is so vast. Whichever direction you go, you never come to the end of it. It has no shores. Para para shunya gabir. And if you go down and keep going, it has no bottom. It's a special ocean. So, just to make you understand what this ocean of rasa is, I will describe but a single drop. So it was as if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the finger of Rupa Goswami Pad and dipped it in that ocean and said, oh, taste this. And Rupa Goswami tasted it, and from that drop came all Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwala Nilamani, Lalit Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav, Dan Kali Komedi, Stavamala, and all the writings of Rupa Goswami, from tasting that one drop. This is a vast, unlimited subject. And so within that ocean of Prem, Prema Rasa, there is the subject of meeting and separation. Now, a question comes, why is this important? It's important because the specialities of meeting and separation are unique revelation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is a Vaishishya of the Gaudiya Sampradaya itself. You will not find this revelation anywhere else. You know that before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami even met, they were corresponding with each other by letters. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote a letter to Rupa Goswami. And in that letter he put a verse, Paravyasani ni nari vyagropi griya karmasu tadevat aswadyantanta navasanga rasayanam. This verse describes just as a married woman who is secretly having an affair, she's staying in her home and she's very attentive to her housework and all of her duties. Why? Because if she becomes slack, people may have a doubt. What's wrong with you? You're not dedicated to your husband. So she does everything meticulously at home. But while she's in her home, Navasanga Rasayanam, in her heart, she's relishing newer and newer experience of meeting with her beloved. So this is like a beej, it's a seed. It was sent by Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami even before they met. And within this is the seed of the Parakiya Bhav. These two subjects, the subject of separation and Parakiya Bhav, are inextricably related to each other. This Parakiya Bhav that Radhika and all Brajagopis, by the arrangement of Yoga Maya, have been married to other gopis in Braja. And secretly, they have to try to escape from their homes, sacrificing everything, risking everything, just to please Krishna. This is called Parakya Bhav, or Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, the most elevated, the romantic mood. If this Parakya situation is not there, then Prem will not develop to its highest point. And in this situation, there is so much separation. So, to understand something of the beauty and the speciality of the revelation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have to compare it with something different. Compare and contrast. In other Rasik Sampradayas in Braja, they have a concept of Nitya Milan. Radha and Krishna always meeting in the Kunj. 24 hours a day. They're playing together in the Kunj. And so, the question of Swakiya, the married love, or Parakya doesn't even arise. Because there's nothing outside the Kunj. There are no in-laws or someone else's in-laws or whatever. It doesn't even arise. So in the line of Swami Haridas, you know, the great Vaishnava who discovered Banki Bihari. Banki Bihari Lal ki. So in his line, Lalit Mohan Dev, he wrote, Kahu Saki, Kahu Paki, Kalapa Kiye Matavadi, Jori Bhagavat Rasika Ki Nitya Ananta Anadi. Bhagavat Rasik, he's a disciple of Lalit Mohini Dev, in this line of Swami Haridas. So he said, some people are talking about Swakiya, the married mood, and some people are talking about Parakya. But as far as I am concerned, this is simply a nuisance. This quarrel and debate is just for persons who are interested in polemics. Why? Because Jodi Bhagavata Rasika Ki Nitya Ananta Anadi. My Yugal Sakar, my divine couple, Radha and Krishna, they are meeting. And their meeting has no beginning and no end. It's eternal. Nikunja Bihar. And so, in the Rasik traditions, which consider this Nitya Bihar, they say, Tahana hi kuch shram, tam nagam biraha, Brahm mana lavalesha pravesha na prasangi. The meaning is that in the meeting of Radha and Krishna, there's no shram. That means there's no exhaustion. Because if Radha and Krishna, Krishna's coming from Nandagaon, and Radharani is coming from Yavat, and they're meeting at Giraj Govardhan, then it's a very long journey. It's a taxing journey. Of course, Yogamaya makes the path shorter, but still, there's the exertion of the journey. So, in the Nitya Milan, there's no question of exhaustion, because they never go anywhere else. They're always there. Tam means there's no darkness of worldly lust. The loving play of Radha and Krishna is not sense gratification. They are not kami, they are premi. Krishna is only trying to please Radhika, and Radhika is only trying to please Krishna, and the Sakhis are only trying to please Radha and Krishna. And all Vrindavan, all the leaves and creepers are trying to please the Sakhis and Radha and Krishna. Like this is the Kunj. So Tam Nagam, there's no sorrow. Biraha, there's no separation. There's no man. Radharani doesn't become upset. Why? Because there's only Radha Krishna and their Sakhis. There aren't any rival groups. There's no Vipaksha, Tatastha Paksha, Surit Paksha, and so on. The gopis aren't in rival groups. There's just one group and they all get along. So how will there be the man which arises from jealousy? It's not possible. Praveshana prasangi. And prasangi means that there's no context. There's no context. In fact, there's nothing outside of the Kunj. No Nanda and Yashoda, no Brishobhanu Maharaj and Kirtinamaya, or anything. So there is just the eternal bliss of their play. So in our sampradaya, we also have an idea like this. But for us, this is called Mantramaya Upasana. Understand? Mantramaya Upasana. There is a dimension of Leela where Krishna is in one place with the gopis and playing forever. So this Mantramaya Upasana has been described in the Brahmana Samhita. Alola Chandrika Lasat Banamalya Baha Balamalya Bangsi Ratnangadam Pratnayakeli Kala Vilasam Shamam Tribanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna is eternally in his Tribanga form, engaged in loving pastimes, Niyata, forever. So this is one dimension of Leela. It's called the Mantrupasnamayi Leela Peeth. But the speciality of the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though it includes Mantramaya Upasana, but the speciality of his gift is Swarasiki Upasana. Mantramaya Upasana is one set of associates in one mood, in one pastime, in one location, going on forever. But Mahaprabhu has given the Swarasiki Upasana. That is, that the associates sometimes get up and they go to another location, they go to another location. Sometimes the associates change. Sometimes Krishna's just with the cowherd boys. Sometimes he's just with the parents. And so then the possibility of separation comes about. Only in the Swarasiki Leela. Understand? So the Swarasiki Leela is also described in the Brahma Sanghita, where Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Shrubir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrama Sabhyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Chintamani, that Prakara Sadmashu, Krishna is at home and the houses are made of wish-fulfilling jewels, Chintamani. But Kalpa Vriksha, he goes out from the home into the forest where there are the trees, Kalpa Vriksha trees. Surabir Abhipalayantam, and he takes the cows to graze along with the cowherd boys. And then saying, oh, everyone should rest now, and they all lie down to rest. Krishna sneaks off with Madhu Mangal and Subal. And Lakshmi Sahasya Satasambrama Sabhyamam, then he goes and secretly meets with the Braja Gopis. So this is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overjoyed when he was traveling in South India and he discovered some Brahmins that were singing these verses of Brahma Samhita. And he was thinking, oh, these verses, the Dwani, the implication of these verses relate to the deep treasure of Prem that I have come in this world to distribute. So, just as a garland is made of so many flowers, so we also have the Mantramaya Upasana, meditation on Radha Krishna eternally in one place, in our sampradaya. That is, the access to that dimension is given by Sri Guru at the time of Diksha, when he gives Gopal Mantra. And then the devotee engages in the service of the deities of Radha Krishna. And the deities of Radha Krishna, they are manifest before us as the Vrindavan Yoga Peeth, Mantrapasana Mai Leela Peeth of Vrindavan. So that has been described. Divyad Brindaranya Kalpa Drumada Srimat Ratnagara Singhasanasto Sri Sri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prashtali Bi Sevyamano Smarami. I do smaran, I meditate on Radha and Govinda beneath a desire tree in the beautifully shining Vrindavan. The whole forest is more effulgent than Koti Surya Samabhasa Vimuktat Sat Tarangakai, more than millions of suns. And they are surrounded by the Sakis and all are engaged in the service of Radha Govinda. So that is the Mantramaya Upasana for us. And we are mercifully given access to that dimension through the Diksha process. But once the devotee enters into seva in that lila, then Radha Krishna will get up and they'll go to another place. And one may have realization of different lila stalis in Vrindavan. And each realization is like a flower. And when bhajan becomes more advanced, when the devotee goes more deeply into the shelter of Vishuddha Sattva, then all those flowers join together and it becomes a garland, and that is the Swarasiki Lila, or as people know it as a Nitya Lila or Astakali Lila. Remembering the pastimes of Krishna throughout in 24 hours, throughout 8 portions of the day. So, of course, now many persons, they do a type of imitation of this. Just taking the mala and trying to imagine. Now it's 8:48, what are Radha Krishna doing? Like this. But this is not actual bhajan. Actual bhajan is to realize service of Radha Krishna in the Vrindavan Yoga Peeth. And one who has entered there, then naturally Radha Krishna will get up and the realization of Swarasika Upasana will come. You cannot go directly to the Swarasika Upasana. Just like if you want to surf online, first you have to log in, right? You can't go from one website to another unless you log in first, okay? So in the same way, one cannot enter, one cannot participate in the pastimes of Swarasiki Lila, which is moving from place to place, without first entering into the Lila in the Mantrapasnamayi Lila Peeth. So this is very interesting because in the other Rasik Sampradayas, they also remember Astakali Lila, but it's all in Seva Kunj, in Vrindavan. They have 8 kunjas and they serve in this kunj, they go to this kunj, they go to this kunj, like this throughout 24 hours of the day. So it seems like Astakali Lila Smaran, but it's not Swarasika Upasana. Mahaprabhu came to give something else. That is, as far as we are concerned, it is Mantramaya Upasana, because it's the same location, more or less, with some slight adjustments, same associates, same mood, like this. So there is Mantramaya Upasana in our Sampradaya, that is our entrance into the Vrindavan Yoga Peeth. And there, all the characteristics of the place have been described by Srila Vishwanath Thakur in Raghavatna Chandrika. He says, Nahanim, Naglanim, Nanijagriya Krityam, Vyasanitam, Naghoram Nudgirnam, Nakila Karanam Veiti Kimapi, Varanghi Bi, Swangi Krita, Surid Anangi Bir Abito, Hare Brindaranye Param Anisham Uchcha Viharati. Hari, Brindaranye is in the forest of Vrindavan. Anisham, continuously day and night, Param Uchchair, Biharati, and enjoying the loving pastimes with Shrimati Radhika and Braj Gopis. So here Vishwanath Thakur in our line is saying the same thing that they are saying. It's that Mantra Maya Upasana Lila Peeth. And what is there? Nahanim. Nahanim means there's no loss. There's no loss there. What type of loss? There's no separation. Krishna doesn't leave. Radharani doesn't leave. There's no loss of time. That Leela is going on forever. There's no loss of bhav. You know, in the morning, when Radha Krishna wake up, and then Brinda Devi, she's very concerned that the sun will rise and everyone will be around in the street. And if anyone sees Radha and Krishna returning from the Nikunj, there'll be a scandal in Braja. So Brinda Devi is so eager to get them to quickly prepare themselves and return to their homes. So then she'll inspire Kakati, the old monkey, to say, oh, Jyotila! She's not referring to Jyotila. She's referring to when the sun shines, then it has red rays. So the sun is like one ascetic old lady with jata, with locks. The rays are like the locks of her hair. So the Kakati is describing a poetic metaphor about the rise of the sun. But because this word Jyotila comes there, and then Radha and Krishna, they become afraid and quickly grab each other's cloth by accident and try to go home. So at that time, the ocean of rasa, it shrinks to the size of a teaspoon. So where are we discussing? Nahanim. In the mantra Pasanamai Lila Peeth, Nahanim, there's no loss. The bhav does not go down at all. Nahanim, na glanim. Glanim means there's no exhaustion. There's no exhaustion. There's no end of the loving pastimes. Nanija griya krityam vyasanitam. Nanija griya krityam means that Krishna does not have any griha kritya, responsibilities at home. In the Astakali Lila, see, Krishna has responsibilities. 3 times a day he has to milk the cows. He has to take them from the Goshala in the morning to the forest for grazing and allow them to drink water in the Jamuna or in other places, other kunjas of Braja. Krishna has responsibility too. He is a father and mother and so on. But here Vishnacharya Thakur is saying, Nani jagaya krityam. Krishna has no responsibilities. Vyasanitam. There's no mood coming from Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The entire bhav is of Vishuddha Sattva, pure love. Nagoram. There's nothing gora. There's nothing frightening or terrible. Like Nanda Maharaj being swallowed by a serpent. You know that pastime? When Nanda Maharaj was being swallowed by a serpent. Oh, when Indra sent heavy rain and thunder and hail and all Braj was being smashed and flooded. There's nothing frightening or terrible. Goram. Nudgirnam. There's no Udgirna. Udgirna is a state of anxiety and confusion. When due to separation, Radharani, she has the avasya chestita. That is, her actions become uncontrollable and she's completely confused. Nakadanam means there's no killing of demons. What is there? There is only just Param Anisham Biharati. Radha and Krishna are just playing eternally in a state of ever increasing bliss within the kunj. They don't know anything else exists. So that has been described by Srila Vishnacharya Thakur as well in our sampradaya. But it is not the whole story. It is just one aspect. How is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the Swarasiku Upasana when there are so many devotees and different situations and meeting and separation are taking place? This meeting and separation is so important because it's like a saw. If you want to cut wood, then the saw goes this way and then that way, and then this way and then that way. So meeting and separation is like that, meeting and separation. Because as the saw goes this way and that way, even though it seems like the directions are different, it's going one direction that is deeper into the wood. So in the same way, by meeting and separation, then love is cutting deeper and deeper into the heart. So this is embodied in the very mantra that by which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inundated the universe with Prem. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Radha and Krishna together. Then Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Radha Krishna are separated. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Radha Krishna together. Here Rama is Radha Raman. Then Rama, Rama and Hare Hare separated. So meeting and separation is intrinsic to the prem given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it causes the love to cut deeper and deeper into the heart. So this question arises, then why is Srila Vishnacharya Thakur describing this sthiti where Radha Krishna are eternally in the kunj? Because this is a mantramaya upasana leela pit. So just as the Ganges is sometimes flowing and then sometimes comes to a place where it's so broad that it looks like a lake. And when you see that lake, it looks like a lake is not moving, but the other side it becomes narrow again and then it's flowing again. So the Mantrapasanamaya Leela and the Swarasiki Leela, they are one, actually. But where it is flowing, that part of the Ganga, that is the Swarasiki Leela. And then when they enter into the Kunj, it's as if, oh, nothing else exists, we're here forever. And it may go on for a night of Lord Brahma, a day of Lord Brahma, millions of years. But then, oh, Jutala. And then everything changes and they're off to the next pastime. You see? So, one thing to understand about this eternal Nikunja Lila is that when Prem, it develops through so many stages. Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Mahabhav, Ruddhabhav. When Prem comes to the stage of Ruddhabhav, it has so many symptoms. Like the inability to tolerate the blinking of the separation for the blinking of an eye. One moment in separation becomes like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years in meeting passes like a moment. To become emaciated with complete anxiety that Krishna is not happy when he's totally satisfied. Even. These are some of the anubhavs. But one of them is mohadya bhave piyatmadi sarvam vismaranam sada. It means that if you faint, moha, if you faint, then you forget everything. You don't know who you are, you don't know where you are. But mohadya bhavepi, even though Radhika and Braj Gopis, they have not fainted. They're completely conscious. But still, sarvam visvaranam sada, they forget everything. Who am I? Where am I? The whole universe ceases to exist. This is one of the symptoms of the Rudra Mahabhav. This is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Radharani, was crying, Ye kale baswapane, dekinu bangsi bodane, se kale aila dui vaheri, Ananda aramadan, hari nila moraman, dekite na painu netra bhari. Radharani said, oh, at any time, whether I was awake or whether I was asleep, then I never really saw Krishna. Why? Because as soon as he came before me, then two enemies used to appear at once, Ananda and Madan. That means Cupid, the agitation for the eagerness for loving pastimes, and Ananda, joy personified. And these two would come, Harinila Moraman, and steal my mind. I've become senseless. And therefore I never filled my eyes with the beauty of Krishna. So no one has drunk the beauty of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, more than Radharani. Ei prema dwari nitya radhika ekale amarama duryamrita ashudai sakali. Krishna himself admitted, through her love, only Radharani drinks the full madhurya amrita, nectar of my sweetness. No one else. So it's true. But Radharani feels as if she has not really tasted Krishna's sweetness. Why? Because as her prem is going up and comes to the Rudra Mahabhav, first it erases everything about the past. And the context and everything is erased by the intensity. That is the Ananda stealing her mind. And then beautiful pastimes take place in the Kunj. And then when she leaves the Kunj and she comes down from the Rudabhav back to the other stages of Prem, then what happened in the Kunj is erased also. It's like, oh, did I meet with Krishna or not? And that's why every meeting seems like the first time. Yada yada pasati madhavam paras tadata daivasya vadasya purvatam navahasada syatkim aham tava tava ragunvate vishmarta kimakshini. Brinda Devi said to Radharani, oh Radharani, every time you see Krishna, you look at him and say, oh Sakhi, Krishna is so beautiful. I've never seen him so beautiful before. His beauty is unprecedented. I've never seen such beauty before. So Brinda Devi asked, my question is this, is it that Krishna, his beauty has become new? It's a new increased beauty of Krishna? Or in the madness of love, had you become blinded by the madness of love and you can't remember how beautiful he was last time you met him? Which one is it? Is Krishna really more beautiful? Or you can't remember how beautiful he was last time, so it seems like something new and unprecedented. So this is the nature of the Nikunja Lila. This is why in the morning, Shamala, she comes to visit Radhika to get all the latest gossip of what happened the previous day. Oh, I can see that you have been relishing so much nectar. By the intoxicated look in your eyes, Radharani denies everything. No, not at all. Oh, what is this mark on your lip? I think that you tasted a fruit, but it was still a bit bitter, so you bit it and it gave this mark on your lip. I think that you've been tasting some rasa. Radharani said, I admit, I did go into the forest, and for a moment I saw Krishna. But then I saw millions of cupids were dancing on a stage. And after that, I don't remember a thing. This is Ruddha Bhav. Sarvam Vismarnam Sada. Everything becomes forgotten. If I stay on this topic, then we cannot move on. But you know that Ramananda Rai, in his Jagannath Balavanatakam, there he said the words of Radhika, Yadayato Daivam Madhuripu Asolo Chanapatam Tadasmakam Chaito Madana Hatakena Ritamabut Puna Yasmin Eksakshanam Apidisho Eti Padavim Vidasyamas Tasmin Akela Gatika Ratna Kachita. Radharani is saying, this is actually the Sanskrit version of Mahaprabhu's words. Whenever I saw Krishna, then Cupid came and stole my mind. And so if I ever get the chance to see him again, then every single moment that I'm with him, I'll thank those divisions of time, Gatika. Gatika means portions of time. Every moment that I'm with him, I'll take pearl necklaces and jewels and I'll decorate each and every moment of time if I get the chance to see him again. So when Radha and Krishna enter into the Kunj, the power of Mahabhav is such that it washes away everything. This is why you can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he went into the Jagannath temple and took darshan of Lord Jagannath. Afterwards, he returned to the Gambhira and he was speaking with Saurabh Damodar and Roy Ramananda. And he said, Saundaryamrita Sindhu Banga Lalana Chittadri Samplavaka. In the mood of Radhika, Radhika is saying, Oh Saki, when I look at Krishna, then Krishna is like an ocean of beauty with waves. And my chitta, my heart, is like a mountain. The hearts of Braj Gopis are like huge mountains, like the Himalayas. But the waves of the ocean of Krishna's beauty are so vast, like a tsunami, and they completely submerge all the mountains of the hearts of Braj Gopis. You know what it's like when you're submerged in something? When you're on the side of the pool, you can hear everyone talking and you see what's going on. But when you take the plunge, then everything disappears. And you can't hear and you can't see. So in the same way, when Radhika just looks at Krishna, then everything disappears because there's the obliteration of her memory and context and everything. This is the power of Ruddha Bhav. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad said, Kulavara Tanu Dharma Grava Vrindani Bindan Sumaki Nishikta Dirga Panga Tanka Chatabi Yugapadayama Purva Kaparo Vishwakarma Manikara Marakatamani Lakshay Gosta Kaksham Chinoti. Radhika is with her Sakis and they're approaching, and Radhika looks towards Krishna and seeing Krishna, she says, Oh Saki, who is this person? Radhika is seeing Krishna every day, but she asked the question, who is this person? She doesn't recognize him because the anurag makes the experience of Krishna newer and newer at every moment. So Yugapada Ayama Puravam Kaparo Vishwakarma. Who is this Vishwakarma? Here Vishwakarma means artist. Who is this artistic person? This artistic person is like a sculptor. You know a sculptor, they take their chisel and they take the stone and they begin to carve. Or they may even construct a very beautiful room full of carvings. So Radhika is saying, who is this artistic person? by his beautiful sidelong glances. His glances are like chisels, because us gopis, our maryada, our adherence to ethics and morality and chastity is so solid that nothing can penetrate it. But this beautiful boy, he's just looking at me, and every time he looks at me, it's like a chisel and cracking the stone of my chastity and breaking it into gravel, into stone chips. But not only that, just as an artist can create a very beautiful chamber, this artist is making a private meeting room carved from many, many emeralds. Can you imagine? If there's a beautiful ornate room and the whole room is made of hundreds of thousands of green emeralds, and you enter into that. Radharani is standing there in an open place with her sakis, but she feels as if Krishna has created one beautiful ornate room made of emeralds for a private meeting only with her. So the poetry of Rupa Goswami is so astonishing. Why? Because he's revealing Radharani's words. That's the nature of a Saki. Saki means if she meets with another female, whatever's in her heart comes out from the mouth. She cannot check it. This is the meaning of Saki. If two Sakis come together, whatever they're feeling, it just comes out. That's the sign. If they're not Sakis, they can meet and just, hello, how are you? Look here. But if gopis come and they're actually Sakis, then they cannot hide their feelings from each other. Yeah? Even if they try, it will still, even if they do avahita bhav, they try to conceal their emotions, but it will come out. All Venu Gita and Venu Gita and Yugal Gita are of that nature. Trying to hide, but the bhav pops out anyway, it's unstoppable. So Radhika is just expressing how she feels. That there is a private meeting room made of emeralds means that when she sees Krishna, the Mahabhav rises in such a way that it obliterates everything else. The entire environment has disappeared and I'm alone with Krishna in this private meeting room. And it's made of emeralds. Why? Because Krishna's effulgence is Sham. And Radharani's effulgence is Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. And so when blue and gold mix together, everything becomes green. And so when Radha and Krishna meet together in the Kunj and everything disappears, then you come into the stage, that is the Mantrapasana Maya Lilapit. What is worshipped in other sampradayas and also in our Mantrapasana Maya Lilapit, Radha and Krishna are playing together and the whole universe is gone. The cosmos does not exist. The Kunj is the cosmos. That is their loving pastimes, that's their entire world. So that is the entrance point, the Vrindavan Yoga Pit. Now, I have tried to delineate something of the vast glories of meeting. So then the question comes, well, if that's so wonderful, I think I'll go and join another sampradaya. That's so wonderful. Why in the Gaudiya line is there so much discussion about separation? So this should be understood. So what to speak about in the transcendental world, but even in the mundane Prakrit Alankar Shastra, like Saraswati Kantabharana, there it is said, Na bina vipralambena sambhogaha pushtimashnute kasaitehi vastrado bhuyan eva vivardate. It means that without separation, then the joy of meeting does not attain the utkarsh. Here, na bina vipralambena sambhoga pushtim ashnute. Here ashnute means attain, and pushtim generally means nourished. But here you should think that pushtim means it doesn't reach utkarsh, its most super excellent state. And it's exactly like kasayetehi vastrado. If you're dyeing a cloth, then you take the white cloth and you put it in the red dye, you dip it in, and you take it out again, and then you dip it in and you have to put it into the dye and take it out several times. And when you do that, then the color becomes extraordinarily bright and beautiful. So in the same way, love does not come to its most super excellent and effulgent state without separation and then meeting, separation and then meeting. Now, sometimes persons think this separation is so bad because it's so painful, it's just suffering. It's just, but it cannot be suffering. It is not, it is just one type of bliss. One type of bliss. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says, Viyoge twadbhutananda vivartitvam dadatyapi tanotesha praga arti barabasatvam urjita. It means that even though Radha and Krishna, they feel subjectively we are separated from each other. Viyoge twadbhutananda. It is actually Adbhut Ananda. It is astonishing joy. Vivartatvam. Here Vivarta, the word Vivarta in this context means paripak. It means to the most mature level. This is Adbhut Ananda Vivartatva. The astonishing joy goes to its highest level. Tanotesha praga antibhara. Arti bhara. Arti means suffering. Arti bhara. Bhara means an abundance. A great abundance of suffering. And pragar means deep. A great abundance of deep suffering. So tanotesha pragar arti bhara. Bara abasatva. Abas. It's not an abundant, deep suffering. It's abundant, deep suffering, abas. You know, abas means a semblance. It looks like abundant, deep suffering, but actually it is supreme ananda. How can it be suffering? Because even a person who performs sadhana, what are the two symptoms of sadhana bhakti? Kleshagni, right? Sadhana bhakti it destroys all suffering. So how is it possible? Even the person who has gone into the stage of bhav, he has a little klesh, tiny, just a fraction. But if a person has attained prem, then avigyata kila klesha, he is completely oblivious to any kind of suffering in the state of prem. So if someone is in prem, sneha, man, prana, is in the higher states of prem, what is the question of suffering? There cannot be any suffering there. The second thing is that separation is a type of rasa. It's a mellow, and rasa is composed of Vishuddha Sattva. Bhav and all the ingredients of bhav, there are Vishuddha Sattva. That is the essence of Samvit and Hladini, the joyful potency. So how can that feeling, which is manifest by the essence of Hladini Shakti, be actual suffering? It's not possible. Even, Prahlad Maharaj, he said, Naivodu jai paraduratya avaitaranya twadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chitta so chaita tovi mukachaitas indriyata maya sukaya param udvahato vimudhan. Prahlad Maharaj said to Lord, "O my Lord Nrsingadev, I am not at all afraid of the ocean of material existence. I have no stress at all because wherever I go, nimagna chitta, my heart is immersed in singing about your glories. So I have no problem at all. So chaita tovi mukachaitas indriyata. But I have one lamentation. And that is, my heart laments when I see the conditioned souls in this world who are laboring under the burden of the self-made artificial responsibilities, searching for an illusory happiness. When I see this, I lament. But that lamentation of Prahlad Maharaj is actually one type of ecstasy. It's the karunras. It's the mellow of compassion. So even the suffering of even Prahlad Maharaj has no suffering whatsoever. So what to speak of Braja Gopis? It's completely impossible. So the reason that their separation is full of joy is because in that separation, there is a ashabandha, an unbreakable hope. In the core of their hearts, they always remember Krishna. And they remember how Krishna smiles, how Krishna talks, how he embraces me, and so on. And so the inner core of that separation is joy. Even though there's an external sense of the context that Krishna is not here. And then when meeting takes place, then the meeting is even more ecstatic because it took place after the separation, which increased the thirst to meet. Why is food relishable? Food is not relishable if you're full. If you're full and someone offers you something to eat, you feel sick, right? Food is relishable in proportion to the intensity of our thirst and hunger. So separation is like hunger, which causes the relishment of meeting to be more relishable, like this. So now we want to speak something. This was a little introduction. We want to speak something about the varieties of meeting and separation. So the first thing, if you want to hold the hand of Rupa Goswami and be led step by step into this vast, endless ocean of nectar, first we'll have to understand that Sambhog and Vipralamba don't refer to actual meeting and separation. They refer to the rasa of meeting and the rasa of separation. So don't have just two categories, meeting and separation. Or maybe you could have a feeling of meeting in separation or separation in meeting. So now you've exhausted the categories, the possibilities. But actually there are thousands of possibilities. We might not get the chance to complete all thousands today, but we'll try to touch maybe a few hundred. So first of all, actual meeting, that means that Radha and Krishna, their swarups are together, they're really together. That is called yoga. And when they're actually not together, they're in different places, that is called Viyoga. So that is meeting and separation. Yoga and Viyoga refer to the location of Radha and Krishna, whether they're actually in proximity of each other or they're at great distance from each other. Then there's such a thing, the Sambhog rasa and Vipralamba rasa. These are the rasas. The rasas of meeting and the rasa of separation. So these two correlative terms, they don't necessarily correspond with each other. They're sometimes dependent on each other in certain circumstances and sometimes completely independent from each other. In other words, the rasa of meeting can be relished even when Radha and Krishna are far away from each other. Or Radha and Krishna may be in extreme proximity, but the mellow of separation comes. You see? And so Rupa Goswami Pad has described, first of all, 4 types of Vipralamba rasa. 4 types of Vipralamba rasa. And then he describes 4 types of Sambhog rasa. And these 4 types of Sambhog rasa, mellows of meeting, take place after the 4 types of separation. The varieties of separation give rise to different types of meeting. Right? So, also the experiences of meeting and separation in these 4 types and these 4 types is also different in different stages. If a devotee is in the stage of bhav, then it has a particular speciality. If he's in the stage of rag or anurag or rudabhav, or in each stage of the krampakash, that means the gradual evolution of the sthayi bhav, his foundational sentiment. As the foundational sentiment goes through its various transitions to higher and higher stages of love, then the meeting and separation rasas are also experienced differently as well. So we have 4 times 4. There are 7 stages of love. And then in each stage of love, there are varieties, like Sneha has Madhu Sneha and Grita Sneha. Man has Lalit Man and Udata Man. Each of these also has different varieties as well. And so then it becomes, the 7 becomes multiplied by. So, and it starts to go into the hundreds and thousands of varieties of meeting and separation. So let's just look at Mukhya, the chief types of separation to begin with. The first one is called Purvarag. Purvarag means the separation that Radha and Krishna feel for each other, Purva, before they had the chance to meet. Before they met in the Rasalila. Just like you can see, Krishna's dancing on the head of Kaliya. When Gopi saw Krishna dancing on the head of Kaliya, he was basically showing off. Krishna was wrapped up in the coils of Kaliya, completely wrapped up, and there were so many inauspicious omens. Actually, nothing inauspicious can take place in Braj. It was the demigods. They want to make it more dramatic. Just like if someone's making a movie and they need an earthquake or they need a comet in the sky, then the special effects department will do this to make it look like a really dramatic scene. So there cannot be anything inauspicious in Braj. But because Krishna was in the coils of Kaliya, so the demigod said, oh, now we have a chance to do service. Make some comets fall from the sky. Make the earth tremble. Make the shakun, some inauspicious omens here and there. And so the demigods had the chance to do some seva. All the Brijvasis in their homes saw inauspicious omens and thought, Krishna! Something must be happening to Krishna. And they came out of the village and they followed his footprints. And they came onto the bank of Kaliyarad. And seeing Krishna just wrapped up in the coils, Mother Yashoda was fainting. When she came back to sense, she wanted to enter into the Kaliyarad. All the Brijvasis wanted to save Krishna, but Balaram checked them. Don't worry. He gave them some reassurance. So at that time when Krishna was all wrapped up, he was peeping through the coils. And he was looking. Have the gopis arrived yet? Where are the gopis? My mother's here, my father's here, the cows are here. My uncle's here, Upananda, Abhinanda. Where are the gopis? Then the gopis are arriving. Oh, here come the gopis. Where's the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj? Krishna was peeping through the coils like this, and he was waiting for Radharani to, and when he saw that Radharani had arrived, then he burst out from the coils of Kaliya. And then he began to show off dancing. Tai ta tai tai ta tai 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 drimiti drimiti triki 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 tak bo patam tam. Like this. He began to dance. This is a pastime of Purvarag. Radha Krishna have not met yet intimately. There was no Rasalila. He's only 6.5 years old, but because he's going towards the Kaishor Lila, so there's some shadow of the romantic mood is coming already at that time. And when Krishna was all decorated with the Kaustuba money for the first time, and he came out from the water onto the bank, all the gopis were standing there, and they saw him beautifully decorated. And he walked past them, close to them for the first time. And as Krishna walked past the gopis, each one just fainted and fell down like a plantain tree in a hurricane. Like this. This is Purvarag. The whole Govardhan Leela. The lifting of Govardhan. This is all Purvarag. Why? Gopis have fallen in love with Krishna. But alas, alas. By the hands of cruel fate, their marriages have been arranged to someone else. And gopis are thinking, we'll never know what it's like to live together with Krishna under the same roof. So then to fulfill that desire, Yogamaya inspired Indra to smash all Vrindavan with the rain and thunderstorm, and Krishna lift Giriraj Govardhan, and then the gopis had experienced what it's like to live with Krishna under the same roof. Don't think the Govardhan Leela is really about the Indra. He's just like an extra in this. All the pastimes of Krishna are only about Madhurya Rasa, Radha and Krishna's Prem, and everything else. That's the context. They are the upakar, rasupakar, so the ingredients which are supporting that romantic mood. So this is Purvarag, the love that's felt before the chance to meet together. Purvarag. Then, what's the next type of separation? Man. Man means when Radhika becomes upset. Now, should note, there's a difference between man, the Staibhav, and man, the Vipralamba Rasa. They're not the same thing. The word is the same, man, but they're not referring to the same thing. Why? Because Prem, Sneha, man, this man is only a type of bhamya, a type of contrariness. When Radhika is waiting for Krishna and he finally shows up and he comes there with a few cows, and then Radhika sees him, just out of affection, just tears start flowing from her eyes, and she feels embarrassed that she's showing some submissiveness to him because she's been instructed by Lalita, you have to play hard to get. Treat him mean, keep him keen. This is... So when Radharani's heart just melts seam and she's crying and she's remembering the words of Lalita, then at that time, her mood becomes crooked. And Krishna sees Radharani crying and she just starts complaining. Oh, why did you come here with so many cows? Now the dust has gone in my eyes. And Krishna said, oh my beloved, just come here. And he holds Radhika's face and starts blowing on her eyes. Radharani said, what's the use of this false show of love? It will not help you. So Krishna hasn't done anything wrong. It's just that the sneha, the affection, became crooked. It took on a contrariness. So that is called man, that's the Staibhav, but that's not what we're talking about here. This is man, the second type of Vipralamba Rasa. And so this is... it can come with a cause or without a cause. But when it comes with the cause is always jealousy. The cause is always jealousy. That Krishna has gone to meet with someone who shall not be named. You know who. But we'll not bring that vibration into this atmosphere. So this is man. And then the next type of separation is the Prem Vaitshitya. Prem Vaitshitya. Prem Vaitshitya is fascinating. It's actually a symptom of anurag. When the Prem develops up to anurag, then the thirst to drink the beauty of Krishna becomes so intense that it's simply not possible to drink the beauty of all of Krishna at the same time. And therefore, the mind becomes very fine and can only concentrate on one thing at a time. You've probably heard there are many songs like Sucharu Vaktramandalam Sukarna Ratna Kundalam Suchachitanga Chandanam Namami Nandanandanam Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Patavali Vakshastale Kostudam Nasa Grebara Moktikam Kalatare Venu Kareganka. Baha Pidam Natavaravapu Karnayoka. There are so many verses like this, and they seem to be describing Krishna just piece by piece. He has a beautiful peacock feather, his body is smeared with sandalwood paste, his nose is decorated with the elephant pearl, he has bangles and rings on his fingers, he has a pearl necklace like this. It's describing Krishna piece by piece. This is not like, let us say, just a kind of list. Let's make a list of Krishna's features to give you... there's some criminal out there and we have to catch him. So we're making a photo kit identity of this person. What is he like? Well, he's got a peacock feather. He's got some ear... You tell to the detective, doing the sketch, he's got earrings, okay? Like this. Describing it. It's not like that. These poems are full of rasa. Why? Because when the Braj Gopis see Krishna, that's how they see him. He's so beautiful, they can't even drink all of his beauty at once. And so their bhav just zooms in on his ear. Oh, his earring is so nice. And then it goes onto his lips are so reddish and beautiful. His eyes are so restless, like this. Because they cannot drink everything. It's a symptom of anurag. The gopis are not only like that, Krishna is like that also. Gaurange mradidama smite madurima netrantrale dragima vaksu jay garima tataiva tanima majay gato mandima shronyam tya pratima bravo kutilimo bimbadar ekshonima Shri Radhe Rite Rasena Jadimaha Dhyanestu me gochara. Oh, may the beauty of Radhika appear in your heart. How is she? Gaurange Mradima. Her skin is so soft and golden. If a flower will fall from a tree and land on her body, then when you remove the flower, there'll be a shape. When she rises up from the kunj in the morning, then the imprint of all the flower petals on the bed of flowers is there on her body. Then Rupa Manjari may chastise you. What are you doing? These jasmine flowers are too hard. You should get another type of the flower tomorrow to make the bed. So Gaurange Mradimasmite Madhura, her smile is so the sweet. Netranchale Dragima, her eyes are so long and she looks from the corner of the eye towards Krishna. Vaksu Jai Garima, her breast is so heavy. Gato Mandima, the way that she moves is Gajagamini. You know, if you're behind an elephant and they're walking, then the elephant takes a step and his whole body swings to this side. Then he takes another step and the whole body swings to that side. So Radharani is like that Gajagamini when she walks. Her waist is so thin. Her lips are so red. So this verse is describing how Krishna's anurag. When Krishna sees Radharani, then he cannot take in all of her beauty at the same time. It's impossible. And so he becomes lost. Each part of the body of Radhika is like a kunj. Just as a person can enter into one kunj and then come out, and then enter into another kunj and come out, then enter into another kunj. When Krishna sees Radharani, he enters into the kunj of her eyes. And there's only her eyes. Then he enters into the kunj of her lips. And each part of the vigraha of Radhika, Krishna becomes lost. I had a plan of something to say and it's just, whatever's coming to me. Okay, what are we oh yeah, Prem Vaicitya, that's the subject. So Prem Vaicitya means this, that we can give an example. If you have a very fine needle and you take some cotton thread and you try to thread it in the very small needle. You've all done this as children, right? You take the thread and you try to put it in the needle, but the needle is really small and you poke it, but it's not going through. But a few fibers go through. So you think, now I can do it. And you grab the fibers and then you pull, but just one fiber comes through and there's a big mess on the other side. Right? Have you done that? Right? Okay. So that's what happens here with Prem Vaicitya. That the intelligence becomes so fine and the relishment of some aspect of Krishna, one becomes so focused on that only that comes into the heart and everything else is left outside. And when one is absorbed in that one quality of Krishna, then that gopi thinks, where did Krishna go? And suddenly she starts to feel separation. Oh Krishna, where are you? Ankasti tepi daite kim api pralapam ha mohaneti maduram vidadate kasmat shamanu raga madavivala mohanangi shamamani jati kapini kunja simni. Oh, all glories to that jewel-like heroine, Srimati Radhika, who very deep in a kunj of Vrindavan, Ankasti tepi, is sitting on the lap of Shri Krishna. But she becomes absorbed in just one aspect of his sweetness that she loses awareness of the rest of Krishna and begins to cry in separation, Ha Mohan, Ha Mohan. Oh Krishna, where are you? And becomes overwhelmed with anxiety. And Krishna is just looking and he cannot believe. His eyes, the nature. So this is called Prem Vaicitya. Then the next type of separation is called Pravas. Pravas means separation by a distance. And there are two types. One is Kinchit Dur Pravas. Krishna is away, but not so far away. Just like every day, he leaves the village and he goes into the forest. So the Braj Gopis, they know he's somewhere in Braj nearby, but we can't see him. It's still separation. And then the other type is called Sudur Pravas or Sudirga Pravas. Krishna went very far away. Krishna has gone to Mathura. Or Krishna has gone to Dwarka, very far away. So these are, what are the four types of Vipalamba Rasa? Number one, Purvarag. Number two, Man. Number three, number four, Pravas. Good. Just testing to make sure everyone's paying attention. I'm trying to make sure that everyone is on the same page, because you need to keep this in your heart and then build on this for the next level. Because now we'll look at 4 types of meeting, because they correspond with the different types of separation. So the 4 types of meeting are first Sankship Sambhog. Sangshipt. The word Sankship means abridged, abbreviated. It's a Sangshipt. It's an abbreviated meeting. In other words, all the characteristics of a successful meeting are not present. When does that Sankship Sambhog take place? After Purvarag. In other words, Radha Krishna have fallen in love, but they didn't get the chance to meet. And when they finally meet, because they're so shy, and it's all new, and they feel some fear, so the full joy of the meeting pastimes doesn't take place. Krishna sits next to Radharani, and he's thinking, how do you enjoy a woman? I don't know. He goes to touch her chest, and his hand is, that hand that lifted Govardhan Hill for 7 days and nights, that hand is trembling. And the Sakhis are watching and laughing. And then Krishna, he tries to kiss Radhika, but Radhika takes her veil and covers her face because she's so shy. Krishna tries to embrace Radharani, but she shrinks away from him because she's so shy. Krishna tries to break the ice with some jokes, but she's just deadpan. And she doesn't laugh or even give a reply. And then it's time, Krishna has to quickly go. And even though, by all other metrics, that meeting was a disaster, Krishna's leaving, he's saying, oh, success. He's so happy. With the first meeting. That's called Sankship Sambhog. And a bridge meeting. Why? Because it's natural to be like that after Purvarag. Which way to go? So many slokas are fighting in my mind. Pick me. Okay, so then Sankirn Sambhog. Sankirn Sambhog means the mixed meeting. It's mixed. What is it mixed with? It's mixed with man. It's the meeting that takes place after Radharani has become angry. That means jealous. Remember? Jealous. After Radharani has become jealous, if she gets the chance to meet with Krishna, then this meeting, it's joyful. But it's like a tapta ikshu. Tapta ikshu means hot sugarcane juice. If someone gets some delicious fresh sugarcane juice and heats it up, but they heat it up too much, and then you get, and you are so eager to taste it, so then you take a mouthful of the hot sugarcane juice. It's so hot, it's burning the mouth, but it's so sweet, you can't spit it out. So in the same way, when Radharani is upset with Krishna, and she became jealous, but finally her Sakhis arrange, or they allow her to meet with him, then at that time, there's the happiness of relishing the sweetness of meeting with Krishna, but there's still some burning, remembering what had taken place before. So that's called a Sankirn Sambhog. So that Sankirn Sambhog can be in the beginning of the meeting. It may even extend up to the middle of the meeting, but it cannot be at the end of the meeting. When that loving pastime becomes deep, everything, all that man will have to completely go away. That's why Krishna's name is Hari, one who takes away. He takes away Radharani's sulky mood. This is one meaning of, in the Mahamantra, Hari. Raghunath Das Goswami has described. And Jiva Goswami. So that's Sankirtan. Then Sampanna Sambhog. Sampanna Sambhog means the successful meeting. This Sampanna Sambhog has so many types, such as two main types. One is Agati, Krishna returning. And the other is called the Pradubhav, a sudden appearance. So, for example, Agati, an example would be you know, in Gopi Geet, Dina Parikshaye. Yeah. Nila Kuntale Banurohananam Bebradavritam. My new best friend in New York. Gana Rajashwalam Darshayan Muhu Manasinosparam Biyayatsyasi. In Gopi Geet, the gopis are remembering the agati, what it's like when Krishna returns from the forest in the evening. Dina Parikshay, when the day is coming to an end. And that also feels like my life is coming to an end. I cannot tolerate another moment of separation. But now, Krishna is returning. Nila Kuntalai, with his beautiful curling hair, Gana Rajashwalam, which is decorated with the dust raised by the hooves of the cows. 9 lakhs cows of Nanda Maharaj are coming, making huge clouds of dust, and it's settling on the hair and the face of Krishna, just like pollen on a lotus flower. And with some, just as a lotus flower has some drops of water, Krishna's face has some drops of perspiration. And Krishna's so handsome, but it's the end of the day and he's looking a bit tired. And when his face is a little bit tired, it's more sweet even. So gopis are remembering at that time, Darshayan Muhu, Krishna, you showed us your face again and again. Manasi no smaram vira yachasi. Manasi na smaram vira yachasi. That means, oh Krishna, you are a hero. What kind of hero are you? You deliberately come home and you show us your face again and again. That means instead of just going down the street and entering into your father's palace, when you see one gopi outside her window, then you come there and then you make an excuse to run after a cow over here and you come back to her window again. And then you go to talk to a friend and you come back again and you show your face again and again. And by this you awaken the smara, the arrows of Cupid in our heart. So if a hero will awaken the desire in the heroine, then he should be a hero and fulfill that desire. But what does he do? Vira Yatshasi, what kind of hero are you? You just disappear into your father's house. Showing your beauty again and again, awakening our desire, and then you disappear. So gopis are criticizing him, but this is an example of agati. He was far away, but now he returned. What is pradubhav? Pradubhav means Krishna just suddenly appears. He just suddenly appears right there. So that is at the end of Gopi Geet, when Radharani, she cries, Yat te sujatas charnam buruham staneshu bitashanai briyatadi mahikakaseshu. Te natavim matasi tadvyata na kimsut kurupadi bi brahmati di bhavadaya shamna. Oh, Sri Krishna, when I hold your lotus feet on my heart, I place them there very gently, thinking that your feet are so soft and my heart is so hard. So how can I tolerate this moment when you are wandering around on the sharp stones in the forest? I cannot tolerate it. My mind is becoming disturbed. And then Radhika said, if I cannot serve you, then what's the use of staying alive? Bhavadayu shamna. That means may my ayu means lifespan. May my lifespan be yours. In other words, if I cannot serve you, what's the use of being alive? But according to my astrology, I have some remaining years left of my life. But in separation, now I will die, and I'm donating those extra remaining years to you. Let you live in Braj and be happy for a long time. And when Radhika said this, then Krishna, he could not hide. He was in a hiding place in the bushes, watching and relishing the separation songs of Braj Gopis. And he could not tolerate for another moment. And he quickly came out from the bushes, and Gopis suddenly saw he was there. Tasam avirabhut shauri smayamana mukamboja pitambara darasragvi sakshan manmata manmata. We sang this in the kirtan. Gopi paranadana manmata manmata. At that moment, Krishna was more beautiful than he'd ever been before, because the gopis are about to die. And so Yogamaya, Krishna wanted Yogamaya's help. He thought, oh, I tormented them, I teased them so much by disappearing. When I come back, they'll be upset with me. Perhaps they'll not accept me. So Krishna came and Yogamaya made him more beautiful than he'd ever been. Yoga Maya means agatana gatana pratiyasi shakti, the power to make the impossible possible. So at that moment, Krishna was impossibly beautiful. It's not possible to be as beautiful as Krishna was at that moment. Tasam avirabhut shauri. He suddenly, avirabhut means like avirbhav, he just appeared. So this is called pradubhav. They didn't see how he came from somewhere. He wasn't returning. It was just, Krishna suddenly appeared. You know, this word avibhav is used. We don't use that for Krishna. Krishna doesn't have an avibhav titi. He has a Janmastami. It's the day he's born. He appears naturally. But other incarnations, they have avibhav, appearance day. Not a birthday. Appearance day. We don't say the birthday of Lord Nrsimhadev. Right? Say the appearance day of Lord Nrsimhadev. Why? Because he just appears out of the pillar. You see? So here, Krishna just appeared. Because he looked so new, it was as if they'd never seen him before. Pitambara Dharasragvi. He was holding his pitambara, his cloth, around his neck. Because, you know, Vaishnavas always wear a cloth over the shoulder. It's called a Galavastra. And it indicates humility. That the chest is not showing. That the chest is covered. This is called Galavastra. This is Vaishnava culture, to always wear the Galavastra. Because when a person, Galavastra Kritanjali, when a person holds his Galavastra, it means, I have made a mistake, please forgive me. I am at fault. I am taking shelter of you. I have no other shelter but your mercy. Please forgive me. My heart is truly repentant. This is the meaning of Galavastra. So, Pitambara Dara, that Krishna was holding his Pitambara, means that he came before the gopis in this apologizing mood. Shragvi means he was wearing a garland. Which garland? The garland that Radharani had made for him when he disappeared with her. So Krishna was wearing that just to show her, I have come back, but I am remembering you. I am only remembering you. Sakshat Manmata Manmata. And Krishna was the Cupid of all Cupids at that time. So that is called the pradubhav, sudden appearance. This sudden appearance can be direct, such as at that moment in the Rasa Lila, or that pradubhav can be called Vipralambika pradubhav, a sudden appearance which is caused by a feeling of separation. Vipralambika pradubhav. So that is described by Rupa Goswami in Hamsadutta. Radharani has been speaking to Lalita, and Lalita is giving a message to the swan. So Lalita is repeating Radharani's words. Radharani was saying, Oh Sakhi, let Krishna go there and be there in Mathura. Let him be there. If he wants to be there, he is independent. Let it be. But why is it that on the pretext of dreams, he keeps coming in my dreams and attacking me and disturbing me? Either he should be there or he should be here. But he shouldn't be there and giving me such pain in my dreams. But then Radharani opened her heart to Lalita Sakhi and said, Ai swapno dure viramatu samaksham srinuhatad avisrastram ma boriha sakhi mano vibramadiya vayasas te govardana vimipim asadya kutukad akhande yadbuya Smarakalaha pandityam atanot. O Sakhi, I am telling you the truth. Don't have distrust in my words. Ai swapno dure. What to speak of seeing Krishna in my dreams? Forget that. Be very far away from that. I want to say, samaksham srinuhatad. By force, Krishna comes and I see him when I'm fully awake. Samaksh, directly before my eyes. Atad, avishrasta, O Sakhi Lalita, don't be stubborn and have a lack of faith in me, thinking mano vibramadiya, that my mind has become bewildered. Because Lalita may say, look, you haven't seen Krishna, he is really far away, he's in Mathura, what are you talking about that you've seen Krishna and he comes to you directly? Radharani said, so you must be going mad. Radharani said, no, I'm not going mad, it's not a bewilderment of my mind, have faith in my words. Let me tell you what happens. Vayasasti govardhana vipinam asadya kutukat. Out of curiosity, Vayasaste means your friend. Because Radharani is kind of upset with Krishna. So she's not taking the name of Krishna. She's not even claiming that Krishna's her friend. She's saying, oh Saki, that friend of yours, Vyasaste Govardhana, he comes and he enters into the kunjas of Govardhan, overwhelmed with curiosity. And at that time, Smarakala Panditya, he catches me and makes an exhibition of his Panditya, his extreme erudition in the Smarakalaha, that is the quarrels of Prem, in loving pastimes. So it means that even when Krishna is in Mathura, sometimes Radhika in Vrindavan, she may have a spurti of Krishna in the heart. Sometimes that is antarspurti. And sometimes she may have a spurti of Krishna outside. In the state of anurag, there's such a spurti, it's called vipralamba vispurti, an intense vision, which is so intense, it's just like the real thing, like Krishna's actually there. But what happens in the state of anurag, when Radhika even outwardly has a spurti and sees that Krishna's there? She may be sitting alone in the forest and making a garland and crying, just hoping that one day Krishna will come back. Perhaps if he will come back today, I can give him this garland. And as she's sitting, then she feels two hands over her eyes. She said, oh, Lalita, is that you? Vishaka, is that you? And then Krishna jumps in front, no, it's me. Krishna said, oh, you are here. Krishna said, of course I'm here. I would never leave you. And he takes his pitambar and begins to wipe away Radharani's tears. And Krishna extends his arms to embrace her, and Radharani extends her arms and closes her eyes, and then no one is there. This is Vipralamba Vispurti. And the speciality of Vipralamba Vispurti is that when it is bhang, when the vision disappears, then the biraha dvigunit, the separation becomes doubled. Separation becomes double. This is experienced in the stage of anurag. When anurag goes up to the stage of rudabhav, then there is this vipralambika pradubhav. Krishna appears. And in that meeting, it's completely full of joy. It is totally full of joy. In fact, Rupa Goswami Pad says, Sarva Bhishta Sukutsavaha. It is the festival of the highest, most desired happiness. So this is why it's sometimes said that out of meeting and separation, which one is superior? Which is the best? Separation. Yes, many people say that. It's not actually true. But it will take some time to get there. It's not actually true. But still, Rupa Goswami is saying, Sarva Bhista Sukotsava. Jai Kamalanayan Jagannatha Swami ki jai. The meaning is this, that when the Rudabhav turns into Adi Rudabhav, then instead of the meeting and separation coming in a series, just like we can give an example. In Prem by Chitra, Radha and Krishna are meeting. And then suddenly she becomes lost in one quality, and then she loses Krishna himself, and then she's in separation. And then when that bhav subsides, then they're back in meeting again. So there's meeting and separation and then meeting. It comes in a series. But when Rudabhav becomes Adi Rudabhav, then there's a simultaneous experience of meeting and separation at the same time. And so even though the experiences of Adi Rudabhav are higher than Rudabhav, the highest sukh, the highest abhishta sukh, that means the highest, most desired happiness is in the Rudabhav. Why? Because it's an experience of unadulterated joy of meeting without any separation mixed in. And therefore it said it's the highest swabhista sukh, the highest, most desirable happiness. Because the gopis, they always desire meeting. Separation is never desirable. Meeting is desirable. And so that highest desirable meeting takes place in the Vipralambika Pradobhav. And when that's spurti, it's something actually more than a spurti. But when Krishna disappears again, then actually there's a feeling of great satisfaction. It's not like the Vipralamba Spurti in the stage of Anurag, when the Spurti disappears and then one is thrown into the depths, the ocean of pain becomes double. In Rudabhav, the Spurti, which is something more than a Spurti, is the even full of joy, and afterwards there's a feeling, oh yes, I met with Krishna. So, Pravas, we discussed the meeting that takes place after Krishna's gone a little distance away. That is called the Sampanna Sambhog. And if there's meeting with Krishna after he came from very far away, then that is called Samriddhiman Sambhog. Samriddhiman Sambhog. There's a little difference in the presentation of what Samriddhiman Sambhog is in the commentaries of Jiva Goswami and the commentaries of Vishwanath Thakur. And the reason is because Jiva Goswami had another purpose. For persons who are not qualified for Parakiya Bhav, for persons who had the sanskar for Swakiya Bhav, and also to protect the Gaudiya Sampradaya from the censure of a highly conservative society at that time. Preaching that Parakiya Rasa is eternal in the spiritual world was actually, a law was passed that you can't preach this. I translated the legal documents from the court case that took place in Jaipur in the 1700s. And we've published those if you want to see on our website. But it was illegal to say that in Lalit Madhav at the end, when Radha Krishna married, then Yogamaya undoes everything and they're eternally in Braj, and they're unmarried in Braj, and that's the Nitya Lila. It was literally illegal to preach that because society was so conservative. And so the kings, they didn't want the poets and the artists speaking on a subject that the common people would misunderstand, and it would actually impel them to perform some adharma, to go against dharma, something that would be corrosive to the fabric of society. It was considered, you see. So these things are very confidential. So now we have Purvarag, Man, Prem Vaitchitya, Pravas. And after them, after the Purvarag is Sankship Sambhog, after the Man is Sankiran Sambhog, after the Kinchit Dur Pravas, Krishna's gone away but not so far, there is Sampanna Sambhog. And if Krishna's gone very far away, there is Samriddhiman Sambhog. Okay, so 4 types of separation. They give rise to 4 types of meeting, except for one thing. Sampanna and Samriddhiman Sambhog came from 2 types of pravas. There's no explanation what type of meeting takes place after Prem Vaitchitya. Right? So that's your homework. It's not mentioned. 4 types and 4 types. These follow these. But actually, what is the consequence or the combination, the denouement of Prem Vaitchitya? It's not mentioned. Why? Can you think why?
Is it because it's already meeting and separation at the same time?
Well, it isn't. It's still serial. It's still serial because when in Prem Vaitchitya, Radhika feels, I'm separated from Krishna, she starts to cry. It's not meeting and separation at the time. It's Sambhog Ras, Vipralamba Ras, and then Sambhog Ras again. But it's at the time of Yog. Remember, you have not separated them in your mind. It was the first thing we said today in the class. There's Yog and Viyog, and there's Sambhog and Vipralamba, and they don't necessarily they're not necessarily correlated with each other. There can be Vipralamba while in the state of Yog. There can be Sambhog while in the state of Viyog. Okay, so what is the answer? What's after Prem Vachicha? It all depends on the subjective state of Radharani when she loses awareness of Krishna. Right? If in her heart she thinks that he's gone to Mathura, then it will be meeting after long separation. If in her mind she thinks, sometimes when Radharani goes into Prem Vachicha, she takes the blade of grass between her teeth and crying says, "Oh Lalita Sakhi, what happened? Did I make an offense to him? Is that why he left me? Oh, did someone call saying a demon is attacking his cows and he had to quickly go and save the cows from a demon? Is that the reason? Or is it that some of the birds who are singing, one of those bird sounds was not a real bird, but it was Padma, the Sakhi of Chandravali, going, ooh, ooh, and making a signal to Krishna, Chandravali is calling you. And she's asking herself, why did Krishna leave me at this moment? You see? So then, when that Prem Vachicha comes to an end, it would be an experience of agati. Krishna's just returning from nearby. And so, the type of meeting that takes place after Prem Vachicha depends on the subjective state of awareness of Srimati Radhika when she goes into that state. Just like this verse we were just quoting, Ai swapnadu rei viramatu samaksham srinahutat. When Radhika says, "Oh Lalita, forget about dreams, even when I'm awake. That boy comes and meets with me in the beautiful kunjas of Govardhan." So what kind of meeting is this? Krishna's very far away, so that meeting, someone could say, well, it's Samriddhi Sambhog. But no, because our acharyas describe, because of Radharani's own subjective state, due to the appearance of Rudra Mahabhav, she forgets, who am I, where am I? There's no context. So she's not even aware that Krishna has gone to Mathura. So then when she meets him, she's not going to have the experience of meeting him from coming from a long distance. You see? Even though he's in Mathura and he's manifesting there before her. But due to the nature of her subjective bhav, then she's experiencing in a different way. So this is the answer to the question, what is the prem which is experienced at the end of Prem Vachicha when that pain of separation is extinguished by the joy of meeting? What type of meeting? Well, it depends on the internal subjective experience of Radhika at that time. What context is there, or even if there's no context due to the nature of Rudra Mahabhav. So, let me see. Oh, I can't go on all day. Can I say a few more things? Just one or two more things? There are so many points. I think we should make a festival. It needs a week. It needs a week. But just to give a little overview, the Sambhog, these four types of meeting, they're mukhya, that means chief, but there's also gona. Gona means secondary. So the secondary types are these four types of meeting that take place in dreams. For example, Radharani may take rest at night and in her dream, she experiences meeting with Krishna for the first time in the dream. So she experiences the Sankship Sambhog. It may be in her dream, she's upset with Krishna. You know? All men have experienced that when the wife gets on the case for something that the husband did in her dream. Right? So, part of the joys of married life, right? So sometimes Radharani will have a dream and become, in her dream, she's upset with him, but then she meets with him. And so it's a Sankirna, but it's a Gona Sankirna Sambhog. Sometimes there may be the Sampanna or the Samriddhiman Sambhog. It may take place in a dream. And now the dreams are also of different types. The dreams are also of different types. Because sometimes Radharani has a dream that she met with Krishna, and the next day she may meet with him and tell him her dream. But sometimes she may have a dream and Krishna has the same dream at the same time. So this is a Vishesh Gona Sambhog, a special type of secondary meeting where they're both having a dream at the same time. And so they're actually meeting in the dream and they're both experiencing it. So the next morning when they meet, they don't have to tell each other because they were there. Radhika doesn't have to tell Krishna what happened in her dream because Krishna was there in the dream, actually. So because the Srimad Bhagavatam is the Bhakti Rasa Swarup, Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with all of these things are given, but in a seed form. This example is there in what? the meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. Do you remember in Srimad Bhagavatam, Usha and Aniruddha? Usha had a dream that she'd met with some beautiful man. And when she woke up, even, what happens in these type of dreams, that something from the dream can come back into your waking world. Just like Srinivasacharya, once Srinivasacharya was chanting Harinam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And he went into the Siddhavesh, absorbed in his spiritual form. And Srinivasacharya is Mani Manjari. In the form of Mani Manjari, she was there with Radha and Krishna. Hori Re, Ajavi Rajave, Hori Re, Rasiya. Hori was going on. And Krishna and all the gopis, they were throwing colors. And Mani Manjari was there. And she had the very soft flats of lac filled with the lotus pollen inside. They're like color grenades. And so she was giving the ammunition to Radharani to throw. And so Krishna was also throwing the color bombs at Radharani. And as the color bomb was going through the air, then Mani Manjari jumped in front of Radharani. Just like sometimes soldiers, they take the explosion to save their comrades. So the Manjaris are like that. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj used to say, the Manjaris are the kamikaze squad. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Shri Krishna Birahe Radhika Radasha Amito Sahite Nahari Jugala Milan Sukera Karan Jivana Chodite Pari. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Kamala Manjari. She said, oh, I cannot tolerate the condition of Radharani when she's in separation from Krishna. For the sake of bringing the divine couple together, for their happiness, I am ready to give up my life. This is their mood. So when the pollen bomb came flying through the air, then Mani Manjari jumped in front of Krishna. And she took that on her chest and she was covered in red powder, fragrant pollen. And then Srinivasacharya, when he completed his chanting for that day, he opened his eyes and he was covered in red pollen. So sometimes in the Vishesh Gona Sambhog, something from the inner experience manifests outwardly. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Usha and Aniruddha, she has a dream, and when she wakes up, she doesn't know who it is. So she takes help from her. She has a Saki named Indulekha, who's a bit of a mystic yogini. And she says, describe him. And she starts to draw a picture. And she draws a picture of different persons. When she draws Pradyumna, then Usha looks at the picture of Pradyumna and she becomes really shy. Because she realizes, oh, this is my father-in-law. And then she draws the picture of the Aniruddha and says, that's the one. And then that Saki, who's a mystic yogini, by her mystic power, she brings Aniruddha into the palace and hides him there. And they meet together. But in that pastime, there's the example how the meeting in the dream was experienced by both persons. So in this way, the Srimad Bhagavatam, by the Dwani, by the suggestion, gives us some insights into the types of meeting and separation, which is there in Radha and Krishna's Leela as well. So sometimes there can be all these different types of meeting and separation in dreams. Sometimes it's experienced by only one person and not the other. And sometimes it's experienced by both. So now the different types of meeting, they start to be multiplied over and over. It begins to go dozens and hundreds and thousands of types of meeting and separation. You know that in the stage of Purvarag, then Shrimati Radhika was with Vishaka Sakhi. And Vishaka Sakhi showed her a painting. She'd made a painting of Krishna. And when Radharani saw the painting, she became struck with wonder. And she said, Kim swapnasya vilakshana gitiryam kim jagarasya atava kim ratye upasati rasabhad ratre kim ana kimanayava itam shamala chandrika parichaya spandena sandipita antakshobha kula aham parvrita pragyatam agya bhavan. Oh Saki, when I looked at that painting, then the boy in the painting moved his eyebrows. And he came out of the painting. And there was his charm effulgence. He was like a charm moon. Now the moon is white, it's not charm. But he was like a moon with rays. And these rays were so dense. A dense rays of charm color. And they were coming in waves. And when these waves touched me, my heart was so disturbed. Antakshobakula. I had a whole host of agitations and so many desires just being touched by the ever increasing waves of his beauty. And at that moment, I could not understand, am I awake or am I dreaming? I could not understand, is it nighttime or is it daytime? And at that time, then, Bahanti Shobanam, Bahanti Shobanam Iha, Nagya Shishamidam, Kovaham Kavaham, Chakarakimaham Tam Sakitada. Radharani said, at that time, I was overwhelmed with such a desire. I thought, his hands are so soft, like newly sprouted lotus petals. And what will he be like if he will touch me with that hand? And as I was remembering this, as I was feeling this, then I became so bewildered. I became so bewildered that I could not understand. Where am I? Am I in the courtyard of my home in Yavat? Or am I standing somewhere open in the street? Or am I lying on a bed of flowers in a kunj? Kavaham, where am I? I could not understand. In other words, she was having a spurti of herself in different places at the same time. Kavaham Kava. And at that time I didn't know, who am I? Am I the very chaste daughter-in-law of Jatila? Kula Stri from an illustrious dharmic dynasty? Or am I Sarvakal Bhogya Kanta? Am I his lover who is to be enjoyed by him forever? I cannot understand. Chikarakimaham Sakitada. And I could not understand, what did I do? Was I submissive to him? Or was I contrary with him? Did I take the role of a male and embracing as if I am the male person? Viparitarati. Or what? I don't know. Actually, none of those things happened. She just looked at a painting by Vishaka. This is called moha. This is actually the explanation of moha. Have you heard of one notorious fellow called Madan Mohan? Yeah, Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan means that Krishna is so beautiful. Then when Radharani just sees him, no, she just looks at a painting of him. He's so beautiful that she cannot understand. Is it day? Is it nighttime? Am I awake? Am I dreaming? Who am I? Where am I? What did I do? Did I enjoy with him or not? How did I enjoy with him? This is called moha. So now you know the meaning of Madan Mohan. Don't forget. Madan Mohan ki jai. So here we see that Radhika is in Purvarag. It's a separation. But she's experiencing a meeting. But this sporty is not even a sporty in one place. She's having a sporty of being in many places at the same time. But she's having a sporty of being in many places at the same time with one person. Who is that boy? I don't know. So then Radharani, she said to Vishaka, Ekasya asrutameva lumpati matim krishneti namaksharam sandranandam sandrunmada paramparam upanayo anyasya bangsi kala Aisha snigda ganajuti manasime lagnapate vikshanat custom dig purushatre ratirabun manye mritisreyasi. Radharani said, Oh Vishaka, it would be better for me if I would kill myself. This is Purvarag. Radharani said, it would be better, it would be more auspicious for me if I would kill myself. Why? Ekasya srutameva lumpatimatim krishneti namaksharam. My family members were talking, and one of them said, oh, in the forest there's a herd of Krishnasar, that means deer. And when Radharani only heard, not the word Krishna, only Krish, Krishneti namaksharam, it's in the singular. Radhika said, I only heard one syllable, Krish, and lumpatimatim, my intelligence was completely destroyed. My intelligence was completely destroyed, only hearing the syllable Krish. And then, Sandon Mada Param Param Upanayon Anyasya Bangsi Kala. Then I heard someone was playing a flute. And the sound of this flute entered into my ear. You know, in your subtle body, there are 4 parts: Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar, and Chitta. So first she said, when I heard the syllable Krish, my Buddhi, my intelligence, it was completely destroyed. And then I heard the sound of a flute, and the rest of my psychological body became mad. Aisha Snigdha Ganajuti. And then Vishaka showed me this painting. And there was a beautiful sham effulgence coming from the painting. And then I became attached to that person. So custom dik purushatraya. Custom, alas, alas, it's so painful. Even though I'm from a very religious family, it would be better for me to die, because I have not only become attached to a man other than my husband, but I've become attached to 3 men. I've become attached to 3 men. It's so gambhir, it's so profound. What does it mean? It means that due to anurag, Radhika cannot relish all of Krishna's qualities at the same time. When she hears the sound of the name of Krishna, a spurti comes of Krishna, but she's only relishing the particular qualities of that spurti in her heart. And the sanskar remains there, it doesn't go away. Lumpatimatim, it's in the present tense. So she has a spurti of Krishna in her heart. When she hears the sound of the flute causes a spurti. This is something that's very important to understand in Rupa Goswami's presentation. Lokotara padatanam prabhava kopyanagala ratim tadvishayam chaso turnam vasate turnam ekada. It means that if there is a lokotara padartha, some substance which is not of this world, it's aprakrita, supernatural substance, it has the prabhava kopyanagala, unlimited power. What type of power? Ratim tad vishayam chaso. That if you just touch that transcendental substance, it will immediately awaken love, and it will immediately awaken a vision of the object of love as well. The love and Krishna simultaneously in the heart. Turnam ekada. Turna means immediately, and ekada means at the same time. So here, Rupa Goswami is describing the awakening, Purvarag, how Radhika's love is appearing. She hears the name, spurti of Krishna in the heart. She hears the sound of the flute, spurti of Krishna in the heart, but relishing in a different way, that in such a different way, it seems like a different person to the previous spurti. And then she saw the picture, and he jumped out of the picture and came in her heart. And Radharani is seeing 3 samskars of Krishna in her heart. Each one is relished in a new and different way. And she thinks, oh my God, I have fallen in love with 3 persons. I should just die. You see? So what kind of meeting is this? This is another variety of meeting. Before we showed how Radharani at the same time was meeting with someone called Krishna, the same person, in 3 different places, in spurtis at the same time. And now she's seeing Krishna in her heart. It's the same person but experiences as if it's 3 different persons. See how the types of meeting and separation begin to multiply? It's quite amazing. I just want to add another to the power of 10 to the numbers. Just one more to complete our discussion today. Because even though we have tried to enumerate a brief introduction to some of the varieties of meeting and separation that Mahaprabhu is giving this gift, Unnata Ujjvala Rasam. They were all concerned with the Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan, in one Vrindavan. In one Vrindavan. But you know that how many Vrindavans are there? They're in all the universes. And the main 2 categories of all the one particular dimension of Vrindavan is called a Prakash, Vrindavan Prakash, right? So there are many different, there's a Vrindavan in every All of the universes and Krishna's pastimes are going through those Vrindavans. And in the spiritual world, there's the Vrindavan, but it's not the Vrindavan, right? There are also unlimited dimensions in the spiritual world. So each different dimension it's called Prakash Bhed, that there are different Prakash of the Dham. And Krishna is present in every Prakash Bhed. He's present in every Prakash Bhed along with all of his associates. But every associate who's in a particular Prakasha Vrindavan only knows, I am here. I am in this, I am here. Because it's human-like pastimes, they can't think, well, I'm here, but I'm also in another universe somewhere else. Right? And then it won't be human-like pastimes. You see? So that is called Abhiman Bhed. Abhiman means our own sense of identity. Right? Who we are. We have an Abhiman. I am Namaras, he's thinking. I am Ramdas. I am Tribhuvana. Like this. It's a Abhiman. So in the same way, Prakash Bhed, Abhiman Bhed. In every individual Vrindavan, every Brajabasi thinks I'm only here. They have that Abhiman, even though they're somewhere else. And there they think I'm there. Okay? Prakash Bhed, Abhiman. Now the two main categories of the Prakash Bhed is Prakat Prakash and Aprakat Prakash. Prakat Prakash means when Krishna manifests his Leela in this world, Bhoma Vrindavan. Yes? And Aprakat Prakash is the Galok Vrindavan, the Galok Sthit Vrindavan, the highest realm in the spiritual sky. Okay? Prakat Prakash and Aprakat Prakash. In the Aprakat Prakash, Krishna never leaves. In Aprakat Braj, Akrura doesn't come and take him away. The Vrindavan Leela is going on, so Krishna never leaves. It's only when the Leela is manifest in this world, then Akrura will come, take him away. Krishna will go to Mathura, he'll go to Dwarka and so on. Like this. So these two Leelas are going on. Now, the speciality is this, that when Krishna leaves and goes to Mathura, then Braj Gopis has, as we discussed, Radharani says, oh, not only in my dreams, but directly before my eyes, Krishna comes. So it may be inner spurti, outer spurti, vipralamba vispurti, vipralambik pradobhav. These are all different types of experience. But Radharani is thinking, this is a spurti. But Krishna doesn't think like that. You know, when they met at Kurukshetra, Krishna said to Radharani, Rakite Tomara Jivan, Sevi Ami Narayan, Tara Shakti Ashi Niti Niti, Tomasane Krida Kori, Niti Jai Jadupuri, Tahatumi Manamora Spurti. Krishna said, oh Radhika, I know that when two persons have love, if they're separated, they will die. And therefore, just to keep you alive, every day I am worshipping Lord Narayan. Because Krishna, when he was a boy, he saw his father Nanda Maharaj worshipping Lord Narayan. And so when we get older, we will start to morph into our parents. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's true. So Krishna, he's saying, he has those sanskars from his childhood. So now he's got to be an adult and he's married and he has so many children there in Dwarka. But what is he doing? He's only thinking of Radharani. And he said to Radhika, oh Radhika, just to save your life, Rakite Tomara Jivan, Sevi Ami Narayan, I am worshipping Lord Narayan. Tara Shakti Ashi Niti Niti. And Lord Narayan appeared before me and said, I am very pleased with you. I'll give you a benediction. What do you want? And then Krishna's, because he's human like that, Krishna doesn't know that he's God. Right? When praying comes, Krishna's mukta. He has no idea that he's God. He's praying to Lord Narayan. So Krishna prayed to Lord Narayan, oh Lord Narayan, please keep my Radharani alive. And Lord Narayan said, Tatastu. And he blessed Krishna. So then Krishna told to Radharani, by the blessing of Lord Narayan, he gave me a Shakti, that every night from Dwarka, I come to Vrindavan and I meet and I enjoy pastimes with you. And in the morning, I go back to Dwarka. Tahatumi mana mora sporti. But Radhika, you just think it's a sporty. You think it's like just your mind or your madness, some memories. And Krishna's at Kurukshetra. This is the whole meaning of Mahaprabhu's dancing at Rath Yatra before Lord Jagannath. Mahaprabhu was dancing before Lord Jagannath and he could hear Lord Jagannath saying these words to him. Oh, I was worshipping Lord Narayan every day and I got his blessings and I'm coming to you every day. But you think it's a sporty. So don't be angry with me. I'm meeting with you every night. But Radharani doesn't accept it. So this is one type of the experience. Krishna experiences that he's meeting with Radharani. Another thing which is most important is that when Uddhav came to Vrindavan, Krishna sent Uddhav with a message. And all the gopis were very eager. Oh, what has Krishna written? And they all gathered around him. Where? Uddhav Kyari. Have you been? Who's been to Uddhav Kyari? Have you been there? I'm inviting everyone. Please come to Braj. Please come and spend some months, 6 months in Braj. Stay with us in Braj and visit all of these places. There in Uddhav Kyari, the gopis gave an asana to Uddhav and an asana to Radharani, and the two sat down and they all sat down around them. And the Sakhi said, what does Krishna have to say? So, and Uddhav took out the messages. And he said, Yatha mahanti bhutani bhutetsuscha vyateshvanu pravistana pravistani tatateshu nateswaham. Krishna said, oh my dear gopis, just as all the elements in the universe enter into all objects but also remain outside, so similarly, so no object of this world can never be separated from the elements because it's made of them. Like a clay pot. A clay pot can never be separated from the earth because it's made of the earth. So in the same way, my dear gopis, I am never separated from you. You are never separated from me. Gopis were shocked. What kind of love letter is this? What's all this metaphysics? Philosophy. And the gopis said, did he write something else? Go on, Uddhav. They weren't bothering. Go on, Uddhav. But then Uddhav read it again. And they heard it again. Because first they thought, our beloved Krishna is so rustic. Why is he writing all this dry philosophy? But Krishna told him, read each message 3 times. And then gopis thought, oh, Krishna is saying, just as the elements are outside and inside, so he's outside, he's there in Dwarka, but he's inside, he appears as a Spurti. They said, Uddhav, read something else. But Uddhav, no, he read the same message again. And when he read it, then gopis realized, oh, that's not what he's saying. And as they heard Krishna's message, they realized this. You know, this is in the Chatusloki Bhagavatam. There are 4 seed verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. 4 seed verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. The whole Bhagavatam is there. The essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is in just 4 seed verses. And 2 of the verses are on Sambandha. 1 is on Abhidaya. And 1 of those 4 verses is Prem, the Prayojan, the goal of life. Which verse is that? Yatha mahanti bhut, just as the elements enter everything and also remain outside. So I am inside and outside of everything. It's Supreme Tattva. And the actual meaning is this. As gopis heard Krishna's words the 3rd time, then they realized that outwardly we are seeing Krishna's Prakat Leela in this world. And inwardly, when we feel ourselves meeting with Krishna, it's not a spurti. It's actually, we're really with him in the Aprakat Dham. You see? The gopis are thinking, here we are, and we have this feeling, I'm meeting with Krishna. But that's not here. Krishna is flipping the script. He's turning the whole of reality inside out. They're thinking, here we are in Vrindavan, and we see Krishna in our heart. And that's a bhav. No. They're always with Krishna in the Aprakat Leela, and this Prakat Leela is a bhav of the Aprakat Leela. And then the whole of the existence becomes incorporated into the one supreme reality. So after gopis heard the messages that Krishna sent with Uddhav, after that they lived their life in one of 2 states. Sometimes they would just close their eyes and become lost, and they experienced. They are in the Nityadham with Krishna. That means seeing Krishna, touching Krishna, discussing with Krishna, dancing with Krishna, throwing colors with Krishna, Julan Yatra playing on the swing with Krishna, Madhupan Leela drinking honey wine with Krishna, Nauka Vilas going on a boat on the Jamuna, Jal Bihar splashing in the water of Radhakund with Sri Krishna. All of these pastimes they're relishing. And then they would come out to external consciousness and see, oh, Krishna's far away. He's gone to Mathura. Or he's gone to Dwarka. And then they would criticize him. Why did he leave us? Ai Dina Dayadanatha, hey Mathuranatha. Oh, now you became Mathuranath. By associating with the Kshatriyas, your heart has become hard. Will you ever return to us? So gopis, after, there's a difference. Before Uddhav came to Vrindavan, they were having spurtis of Krishna, inside, outside. But it was only after they heard the message of Krishna through Uddhav that they had the access to experience not just spurtis within the Prakat Prakash, but they experienced the Aprakat Prakash. Understand? Now it becomes all the types of meeting of separation, and now they are squared. Like this. So we haven't finished. There are many more. It's just some outline. I'm inviting everyone. Let me see. Okay, so January the 18th to the 1st of February, 2 weeks festival. We have a Harikatha festival for 2 weeks on the beach in Goa. Everyone is invited. Then, from the 6th of February to the 12th of February, Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Then, 18th of February to the 25th of March, we have Vrindavan retreat. Just Kirtan and Harikatha and Sadhu Sangha all day, every day. And then, after that, 15th to 19th of April, we have a festival, Harikatha festival, called Rupanuga Bhajan Festival in Hawaii. And then New Braj, 29th of April to the 3rd of May, Bhaja in New Braj in California. And then after that, maybe I'll come here to New York, I don't know. We'll see. If I didn't commit too many offenses. Bale Vrindavan Bihai Lal ki Jai, Saniwal ki Jai, Jai Sri Radhe. Go Premanande. So we just wanted two Mahamantras, because before Harikatha and at the end of Harikatha, just like if a Vaishnav comes, you have to greet them with Kirtan, and if they're leaving, you have to see them off with the Kirtan. So in the same way, Harikatha is our gift. Harikatha is not a thing of this world. Harikatha is alokik, aprakrit, supernatural, and descends only by the grace of Yoga Maya from the spiritual world. So before Harikatha comes, we have Kirtan, and now Harikatha is going. Yeah? So we have Kirtan. Human.
Haribo.